welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach, therapist from DCT Center. Also, I'm tour speaker, healer, energy worker, guide mentor, and co-creator, and galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. So, with me today is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to high dimensions of being. Morganne has been called the healer of healers as a way to describe her unique spiritual tool she shares. Morganne is here to serve those who seek great understanding of their desire to integrate the consciousness in their 3D world. And Jeannie Rayne, licensed psychotherapist in state of Washington, working primarily with early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and emotional neglect, helping clients empower themselves. Jeannie sees herself as lifetime student of growth. She continually takes classes to enhance her knowledge base. Hello, 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 my two lovely ladies. How you been? Okay, and for some reason I disappear and I don't know why I disappeared.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'll just start. I'm good. We've had lots of snow. Be careful what you pray for, because I was praying for snow and I got it, and we got snow and snow and snow. So I'm not even home, which is great because there's no power where I live. So I'm blessed that I was called to be over here, caring for precious fur critters, and we have power and heat. So, yep, life is still good.
That's great. That's great. What about Jeannie? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, just being winter and everything, I'm getting into just hibernating and listening to my internal being and really connecting with it on a deep level that I just want to I realize all the distractions that can happen in life, and I'm really trying to just keep it internal rather than external. So that's where I am. That's how I'm doing. And it's, I really love it but I'm realizing how it's such a difficult practice to get into.
It's far easier for the human to externalize things and project, right? We're going back, we're talking, Course in Miracles language, right? So easy for us to project that ego stuff out in the world and look at it as though it's outside of us, right? And it seems like people would rather do that than go in and do what is it within you that's seeing that, right? And I notice that a lot right now. I'm in deep prayer for our country where Jeannie and I live, and for the world too, because it affects everyone. But people are really, really choosing to be angry and choosing. And it's like, if people would just stop and think about, where's that anger coming from? What is that? And then, look at healing that. I think that would be in a much better place. But the game of shaming and blaming and criticizing is so deep in our country right now. And I feel like, one of the things that I've chosen to do is, when I see what's going on in the world, I try to be the counterbalance of that. So it's like, bring more love, bring more peace, bring more, but it's like yesterday I was exhausted. And I was like, no, somebody needs to stop that internal dialogue and begin to focus on the higher frequency stuff. And I just don't see that happening. And well, I do with some people, but with a lot of my experience and what I'm noticing is that it's continuing to be not peaceful and not joyful and not loving. So, and I noticed, like, even in my own community, I noticed that the need to have the conversation that continues to divide. And it's like, how do you bring unity when the voices are so strong for the divisiveness? So I have to look at, okay, so I'm seeing this, what is the divisiveness within me? So that's where I have to keep going, right? And maybe it's for me to, I think I'm pretty clean on those things, but I have to look at what is it, why is it that I get to see this? Why is it I get to do this? And it's really actually a privilege. And I say this because I get to bring in love. I get to bring in joy. I get to bring in peace, right? I get to choose that and be the emulation of that. But I tell you what, sometimes it just be nice to just kind of coast on, it's already here, right? It's just like an isness. So anyway, I rambled. So
I want to say, one thing we're not aware of as a culture is that even our judgment is violent, our criticism, and that we don't realize the violence within us. We think it's out there, people are doing it, and then we judge the people that are doing it, but we don't see what our judgment and our criticism is also violent. And so we have to make ourselves clean in order, like, if everybody took responsibility to make themselves clean and work on themselves, the world would be such a better place. But as long as we're blaming other people, we're not doing our own work.
No, and that's the issue right there, right? And I think that's, why I continually say yes to teaching, right? Because it helps people come back to themselves and look within themselves and see what's going on within themselves and healing from there. You can go out and want to make all kinds of changes, but if you're not doing it from a consciousness of love and peace and goodness and joy, if you're doing that from anger and hatred and divisiveness, you're just creating more crap in the world. It's all infused with that energy, and they don't get it, and it's like, I don't know how to get them to get it, right? Except, and that's not my job to get them to get it. It really isn't. My job is to be the presence of it. But man, I tell you, make my job a whole lot easier if people start practicing a little peace for.
Yeah. And one of the things we can do is the power of prayer is just pray for them, and that's doing something without, changing them, without, getting in their face about it.
Yeah. Yes. Right. And I go back, I was having a conversation with someone about Ho'oponopono the other day, right? And about Dr. Julian Haleakala, how he worked with the prisoners that were in the asylum for the criminally insane. He didn't even see them. He took their file folders, and anytime so you take one file folder, begin to read it. If he got triggered, he started doing Ho'oponopono on the triggers he was experiencing. He did that with every file until every trigger was clean. And today that asylum is no longer. It's not necessary because he did the cleaning work, right? He did that. He took that upon himself to do that. It's kind of where I feel like, okay, I'll take it upon myself. But I got something to read to everybody. I know Jeannie's got this book too, right? And where I am, it was where I am, it was a gift left for me, right? So
What is it?
It's called Daily Meditations for Practicing the Course. And it's the Course in Miracles. And it's written by a woman named Karen Casey. Very sweet. Of course, I had to start from page 1 and, read all the days, right, till I got to today. And today was February 6th. The subtitle of this is Insanity. That's what I feel like is going on. Okay, so insanity or peacefulness, that's the choice. This choice seems too simplistic, perhaps. How can we go from being peaceful to insane so quickly? Few of us had little more than a hint of understanding about this when we first sought the counsel of the Course. Our minds madly tried to solve or change or merely tolerate the circumstances we were living our whole lives. We frequently felt out of control, insane, so to speak, and that seemed normal. We learn now that it could have been different all along. We hear in the voices and see in the actions of our Course friends that it is different for some of them. We wonder why they have been graced and not us. Our time has come, however. Each passage we read, each discussion we hear, each interpretation we seek enlightens us about the pathway to the realm of peacefulness. We too can know only peace. Are we ready? And then there's a little a thought here. I may be enticed by the ego today. Will I choose peace instead? Perfect reading for what's going on right now. It's like, what do we choose? Because at any moment, and I love that line is that how can we go from being peaceful to insane so quickly? And has anyone here experienced that where it's like you're like in peace and all of a sudden something happens, right? And it's usually an external thing. Sometimes it's an internal thing, but something will happen. You'll hear something, somebody will say something, you'll read something, whatever. And you go from that state of peacefulness to the state of insanity in a nanosecond. But the same is true for being in insanity. You can choose peace in a nanosecond. It's that easy when we realize we have the power to choose. Of course, sometimes it takes some work to get to understanding that we have that power, that's our gift, is that we get to choose how to be. That's why we got free will, that darn free will, right? So if we have free will, we get to choose whatever, right? And the ego a lot of times chooses for us. But if we can learn to marry our will with God's will for our lives, that higher frequency, that's what I'm talking about, that higher frequency with God's will, bliss, love, peace, goodness, all of the things that we say we aspire to and that we want in our lives. We can do that. We can choose that. So anyway, that's me. I just thought when I read that this morning, it was really hitting on. And then as we started this conversation, that's a perfect thought to think. I may be enticed by the ego today. I love that. Will I choose peace instead? So anyway. Someone else talk.
Jeannie, talk.
I was going to say, sometimes it's not so easy to change, like, because we can be really in it, like really in the negative, whatever it is, and it's usually external. It's only when we get internal and find where that negative lies, in us and why it's there, like maybe early childhood or wherever. When we get to the root of this trigger, we can, it's only then can we hold that and let it be seen and heard for what it needs to say. Because a lot of times we push those negative feelings away, like these old stuff, and we don't want to deal with it. But it's only in dealing with it that we can set it free. And when I say dealing with it, I don't mean, it's a burden. I mean, it's about holding it and giving it space. Like you would be with a little child and let it speak, and let it say what it needs to, and let it know it's safe and you're there for it. And only then can we go into, we can do it with the inner child, hold the space for the inner child until she finds peace and safety and love from you, because you're doing it all. And I think that's how you get to a greater place. You can't just do it because you want to do it. You got to do the deep work around it to get there.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's true. You gotta make the discovery, right? And if you're really on this path, you want to make that discovery. You
Right.
truly do, because it's those pieces. It's those pieces that hold us back for being an expression of our authentic self. We do this song and dance with our egos all the time, and a lot of times we layer on that. Like, if we don't want to deal with it, a lot of times it moves into something called addiction, right? It's like lots of addictive kind of behaviors. You can overeat. It's like, I remember working with someone one time, and she was huge. She said, I'm morbidly obese, and she was accurate, right? She had lots of things she hadn't touched upon. She hadn't done that inner work. What her strategy for solving every issue was to have a cookie every time she felt that. Have a cookie, right? And that might have started when she was a kid. Here, have a cookie, right? Right? And then it becomes an addiction, so that you push the thought, the feeling down with a cookie. Right now, you've got something else going on that you have to deal with. You're not dealing with just the issue. Now you got to deal with the cookies, right? All the things you layer on top of it: cookies, alcohol, drugs, sex, food, whatever we use to anesthetize that. So it's looking at too, what are our behaviors, and what are those things? And I've seen people have a holy instant, right? I call that a miracle, right? Where it just bursts through. But there's gotta be a belief in that, right? There's gotta be a belief in that holy instant that could happen, right? So I'm gonna give an example. Last week, before I was getting ready to teach the class, take a few days to really integrate the material and think about what I'm gonna say and what we're gonna do. And because it's snowing, I have my trampoline on the inside. It's just a small one, a little rebounder. And I use that for my exercise because I don't want to go out and slip and slide in the snow and ice. So I'm doing my workout on my rebounder, and I heard within me, slow down. I heard just slow down. And so I did. I just slowed down, and on my rebounder, instead of, doing all my stretches and movements, I just slowed down, and I started just doing this very soft, almost rocking kind of movement, right? It was very gentle, like you would hold a baby and bounce it. That's where it was getting. I'm just doing that, and I'm breathing, and all of a sudden, here comes an experience of a deep rooted feeling that was locked up in my body. And so immediately when it came up, I stopped, And it's like like that, which is what we do when there's trauma, right? We stop, we breathe, we freeze, right? And then I heard, keep bouncing. So I went back to the right. And that beautiful, gentle motion and my willingness to allow that, what was deep rooted, and it was so deep, and it was actually attached to something that I didn't think I could do over here in the present day, was linked to what happened way back a long time ago that I buried. And so I kept doing that little motion, kept just following that guidance. And the whole thing beautifully just came forward. It just, the energy of the hurt, of the wound, just kind of bounced out of me. And that, you know how you do that baby, right? And that's how you help them calm and feel safe. And that's just how I felt in that movement. But I saw that if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't been willing to let that come forward, I'd still be hooked into I can't. And as soon as that was over, there was this new energy, this new awareness of my capacity. It was like freeing. It was just, I don't know, it was beautiful. I'm going to take a step away because I think some puppies want to go out and snow for a second. So I'll be right back, or they'll start barking again. Guys, you want to go out?
Yeah, well, Morganne is not here. Please, everybody who is watching, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube video channel so we can get more and more people coming and seeing all this knowledge what Morganne and Jeannie is sharing here. And obviously, thank you very much, everybody who already following. Yeah, I actually at the moment working with a few people who are like just starting to resolve all these inner issues, yeah, and it's so nice to actually see how the person changes. Yeah, it just from one day to another, it's already something changed again, and again it's changed.
Yeah, and that's what doing that when you hold on to something and you're locked into something, you can't change. You can make a lot of changes in your life, and I certainly have grown and changed and become, and some of that's for sheer will, right? It's like, but now it's like having released that, it's like this new energy, this new, and you watch people change, and it's like I can look at situations now and just go, oh, I know what I do in that, right? It's like this newfound I don't even know what it is, but I'm glad I did it. And I hope for everyone, when they come across one of those little nuggets, I call them little nuggets. Sometimes I call them treasures. At the time, it didn't feel like a treasure, but in retrospect, it was truly, that trigger was a treasure for me, because it set me free.
Right. That's what I'm talking about with people doing their work, go internally, and it does set you free, and it lifts the burden you didn't even know was there.
Yes. You didn't even know it was there until it's lifted.
Right. And so it stops you in life, and you're not even aware that this thing is stopping you. We, like everyone, just being human, we all have these things in us, and it's just beautiful that you were able to go with it on your own and do it. Yeah. Work with it. And that's the miracle. And everybody has the capability to do it on their own.
It's true. Well, we all have the capacity to do it. it's what we choose, right?
Right.
We can choose to go within, or we can choose to externalize it. We can choose to anesthetize it, or we can choose to meet it face to face. I love that Rumi poem, right, about the guest house.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, some hurt, some pain. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it totally committed to memory, but some hurt, some pain, some nugget will come at you, right? What do you do with that when it comes? It's like every day something new's comes at you, right? So what does Rumi say? Greet it at the door laughing. Right? Because each one of those things is a message from beyond. And, you know, I think he was the 16th century. I don't know what, no, he was closer to us. 18th century poet. They knew back then that really those issues that we have, we're to greet them, we're to meet them, and we're to transmute them. We're not to fight them. We're not to anesthetize them. We meet them.
Right. And they say that, you know, and all you're talking about is all those triggers, you know, the external triggers. And it's only then when we meet them, can we do our own work, you know, and really let go and help the world become a better place.
Yep. The more that we focus on our healing, the more the world will be reflecting the healing. It becomes the mirror. Just like the world's reflecting to us what's going on, it's just reflecting to us what's internalized within us.
Right. So judgment, criticism, all that is inside of us.
Yep. I've pulled up that poem. I'm going to read it from the author, right? So the guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Wow. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. And that's what I got. I got a delight, right? I was willing to go there. And it actually shifted some thinking about something that I was holding, right? And I made adjustments around that and realized that that was just that invisible thing that was going on inside of me that was continually causing me to strategize on how to like protect myself, or, you know, it had a great strategy going on. It was just breaking down. So, yeah, you know, and that's what I love about my life. I may be a teacher, but more than anything, I'm a student. I'm healing my own life, right? I'm still human. I have not ascended yet.
I think everybody actually, all three of us are the same thing. Jeannie is in her invitation saying about she is student of growth, yeah. But
Yep.
really, we all are. We started our journey just because we wanted to heal our lives. And somewhere on the way, we realize at the same time we can manage heal somebody else's life as well. We can share this knowledge, what we learn. And we all three of us continuously learning.
Yes, we are. And because we're committed to that, and I know we've had this little snippet of a conversation before. It's pretty much inevitable. The peace that we heal within ourselves. I don't know about you ladies, but shortly thereafter, I will have clients that come to me with that same issue.
Yes.
It cracks me up. I'm like, well, God, no wonder I had to go through that so that I could help this one. Right? Well, really, I helped myself, but now I know, and now I have the frequency of it, which is so important because I'm not speaking from, oh, well, you could do that, right? No, I did that. I know that, and I'm here with you, and I can help you let that go. It's phenomenal.
Right. And we're not, when we can do that, we're not living in our woundedness. So we're not, they say all addiction is trauma, is based on trauma. And it's our avoidance of going into that trauma and healing it that causes the addictions.
And that's the truth. Whatever addiction you have, right? Could be cookies, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs. It could be, there's all kinds of things that keep you distracted from doing that deep internalized work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many of us grew up, when we were hurt as a child? Oh, I'll give you a cookie to make you feel better. It's like, and so, what you're saying about the other woman, it's like we've all been there, having a cookie to make us feel better.
Exactly. And then there's that. And then there's the ones that were told to shut up and stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. So what does that do? And I have tons of clients that had gotten that same, I got that message.
I got the message too.
Yeah. So that basically we were triggering the hell out of our parents, and they didn't want to deal with it, right? They couldn't deal with their own internalized wounds, right? So you just shut up or I'll give you something to cry about. What does that do to a human? What does that do to a little child? When you invalidate their feeling, their hurt, their wound, what happens to a little child when they're told, shut up, stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about?
You feel abandoned, not seen, not heard, not cared about.
Y'all also
you shutting down. At least I shut down. I didn't communicate out anything what I feel. And at the moment it's still the same way with my parents. Yeah.
So you went mute.
Yeah. I am here. If they are sure that I dropped out of Gypsy's Courage, then okay, I will be from Gypsy's Courage. I go look for gypsies for my family. Yeah, because it's no point. I just didn't see a power in me to actually stand up to my family, all of them. Yeah, because it's not only my parents. Yeah, it's all aunts and cousin and his family, and all is like very close group.
There's a group think.
Yeah, it's like as a group against one person who is coming from Gypsy's Courage. Yeah.
Right.
How come you don't like something like that? How come you can be different? Yeah.
Right. Instead of you, like them learning from you and your differences, and being curious and amazed that you have so much difference. They criticize you for being different.
And I'm absolutely sure if I stayed in my country, I will never be on my path, or maybe I be on my path when I'm in my 70s, yeah, when I already don't give a damn what others is thinking about me, yeah. I'm going on my path, yeah. But I think the movement here was the best what I actually managed to do in my life, for myself. And I realized that, yes, I left my country for very normal 3D reason, yeah. It just was nearly impossible to get a job in my country and make money for living in my country. So I moved, yeah. But when I was here, I started to understand what means freedom, what means actually say what I think, yeah, be myself, sort of take it or leave it. Yeah, I didn't have the same tights what I had with family. Yeah,
Right.
when everybody can shush me.
Right. So it sounds like they tried to dummy you down, and your intuition told you you needed to leave in order to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where you found your path.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to be said about rebellion. Right? It's like when you know that this isn't correct for you, and you rebel for yourself. You extract yourself. I did the same thing. I moved all the way up to the Pacific Northwest from southern states, right? Went about as far as you could possibly go to get away from your issues. But the issue with that is that the issues are still there, but now you have the freedom to work on it, right?
Right.
You have the space, you have the breath, you don't have someone constant. And that's the beauty about understanding about the companies we keep, the associations we have. Sometimes our families are not good associations to be around. Sometimes our friends are not good associations for us to be around, right? Because our associations, our companies, our families, I mean, company by the people we hang out with, right? The company we keep. When I look at this, I go back and I think about where I came from. I left there because if I had stayed where I was, I would probably be well, I probably would have climbed out of somewhere, but I was heading down a dark path. My friends were all into drugs. My friends were all into big parties, doing crazy extreme things that I knew was not correct for me, was not correct. And then, I had a family that, we all got our stories, right?
Right.
And then I'll go back to what Course in Miracles say. We arrive fully intact in all of our families with all of our issues intact. They're not the cause of our issues. We already had those issues. We arrived there with those issues. Those are for us to heal, clean, clear, whatever we need to do. So if abandonment was a part of your issue, then that's the piece that needs to be. Stop abandoning yourself, right? If pain was a part of your, start loving yourself. It's people want to hang on to the wrongness. They want to, they get into that. This is what they did to me. I'm this way because they did this. Oh, stop it. Just stop it. Are they still doing it? I know I've said that to people before. When they really get into whining, complaining about what their parents have done to them, and just allowing them to that permission to allow them to wallow in that is just creating more of their misery. It's just like, well, why don't you stop? You could stop, you could make a new choice, right? But some people have a hard time having that capacity.
I exactly at the moment have one client who doesn't want to leave this. Oh, I know that's because my father and my family was so horrible to me. That's why I am so horrible now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Do your family now do you something wrong for you? Yeah. Nothing. For many years he's out of family's home and they don't do anything to him anymore, yeah. But it's all the time this excuse. I done this because my father was with me like that. That's why I'm like that, yeah. So take it or leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like well, we're circling back to the beginning of the conversation about, it's easier to blame or criticize something outside of you rather than looking at what's triggering you and what is it that is within you that's wanting to either be released and let go or even be born inside of you, right? Maybe peace is trying to be born inside of you. So when we continually externalize everything in our lives, then we totally miss it. We totally miss it. So I love how Jeannie was talking about that's what she's doing right now. She's moving it inward. She's looking at it inward, and really that's the only place. And then once you have done that inward work, then move in your world. Then go and be the healed piece in your world. And I've always said, I don't just do this for me, I do this for everybody. And I think every healer I know says that same thing. I do this for me so that everyone else can be healed too.
Exactly. And I completely let go all these thoughts about it's my parents' fault because I'm this or this, yeah. No, I take responsibility. It's my choice. And now again, it's my choice. I removed myself from that. It's my choice. And I stand by my choice. Yeah, that was right choice. And I absolutely do not wish to go back there. Yeah,
Yeah.
even for my strength now.
Yeah. I worked with a homeless woman who kept on going back to an addictive relationship. And this man that she used to go with was an alcoholic, and so she would start drinking every time he would. So when I was working with her, she had stopped drinking and moved across the country from him, and as we were working together, she told me about when she was little, she always dreamed of, about having a knight come and save her. And I realized in our work together that she was like hoping this man, because every time he came back, he said he had stopped drinking. And she kept on thinking that they were going to have like a happy ever after relationship. Until she realized she was addicted to him and could own that, and that it wasn't going to work because he kept on going back. Like, it was so, yeah. So it's about knowing, that's about the deeper work. Like, she never realized that's what was happening, but that's what she was wanting from this guy. Like, he was going to come and save her because she really loved him. And that was the thing. She thought she wanted that happily ever after. And it was like, she said she dreamed about it in her childhood. And it's like, and I think that's about doing the deeper work. People don't realize why they keep on doing things, but it's that deeper work, getting to the root of what started this, what did you dream when you were little?
Yeah. Boy, isn't that a beautiful thought, right? Because those dreams, those ideas you had sometimes got shot down real fast.
But you still hold on to them, even though they're not working for you.
Yep. Yeah. We hang on to that shutdown, right?
Right.
And what we in essence have done is we have lost our voice for who
Right.
we are when those of us who grew up in, and I think most of the world grew up in dysfunction. I think we came, if you look at the the men in like in my dad's time, your dad's time, and right before that, these men did not know how to love.
Mm-hmm.
They did not know how to be tender, right? They had to go fight the fight. They had to go earn the bread. They had to go, they were out in the world, right? and
I think there was a lot of fear about being thought of as a sissy or a faggot or this and that. Like my dad used to try to toughen up my brothers by calling them that, and it only served to make
Boys
them.
don't cry. Boys don't cry. Don't be like a girl.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, don't be a sissy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're denying a whole aspect of themselves, and so they don't know how to feel. They don't know how to be tender. They don't know how to empathize because no one showed them. It had to be taught.
Exactly. They're just passing on what they learned.
Right.
They learned that you don't show your emotions. Showing what you feel and sometimes saying what you think isn't safe.
Right.
It's just not safe because you could be harmed.
Right.
So
shut down.
Yeah. So, it's, we're not there anymore. Right.
Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. But it's because of people like us that we're not there anymore. It's people like us that go, let's look at this. Let's examine this. Let's
Right.
live this.
And I think the younger generation, the men in the younger generation are more able to be in touch with their feelings. But I think the older generation still is having difficulty. The majority of them, I think the people who have been doing their work, are getting it. And they're beautiful men. And, but it's the ones that are stuck, and don't do their work and think, replay the tapes that it's a sissy thing to do or a faggot thing to do to get help, or
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice? I notice in my practice, I have about 90% women and 10% men I'm working with. I have very little amount of men I'm working with.
I'd say mine about half and half.
Yeah, mine too, half and half.
And I look at our coursework. Look how many men are in the class.
I'm very surprised, to be honest. I'm very surprised looking at the amount of men I'm working in my practice. Yeah, I'm very surprised that you have in Course of Miracles so many.
So, but what it tells me is that it's changing.
Mm-hmm.
That men are beginning to wake up to, to that they're not that in the box. So, people try to keep putting us in boxes. Oh, this is the man box to be in. So what does that mean if you're in the man box, right? Well, I think people are starting to crawl out of those boxes. Somebody said something to me the other day. They were like, oh, I know. I was at the produce store. We have a local produce place that I go get my produce because, I know where the vegetables come from. I feel good about it. So I go in there and she was saying something to me about, oh, you just need to do this. And I said, oh, trying to put me in a box, are you? I go, I spent all my life getting out of that box and you're not putting me. And it was just great laughter, right? Because like maybe somebody else might have gone, oh, okay, I'll just go and be in my little box, right? Well, people growing up, they got shoved in these boxes. You're the this, and you're the this, and you're the that, right? But it's the courage to crawl out of those boxes and take a fresh breath of air, right? And then people retreat into those boxes because that's where they can perceive safety, right? They're safe in their old hurt feelings because they felt it. So people get addicted to their hurt feelings.
Right. And there's, when they go into the boxes to feel safety, there's no growth, and they're stuck, they're stagnant.
Yep.
And it's pretty toxic to be around.
Yep. And that's where they say, oh, I'm this way because this is the way it was in my family. Okay, well, go ahead. You go climb back in your little box. Right. When you're ready to come out, I'll help you out. Right. But people have to be willing and ready to do that. And just seeing the men that are there, that are being open and vulnerable and, willing to be led by the Holy Spirit. What? Oh my gosh.
Ladies, I need to remind you, we have like over time now, 6 minutes, we are in meditation already.
Oh, I forgot about meditation. This conversation's so juicy. So, well, let's do a little bit of something, okay? Unless Jeannie has something to add to that out of the box.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Let's do a little bit of a meditation, everybody, because this is where we do the work. This is the work. How easy is that? So let's just begin, and we're going to take a breath together. So we're going to breathe in that beautiful breath in. Oh, and feel it go in and fill up your lungs. And how deep does that breath go? Can you get it all the way down into your belly? And then gently, beautifully, just let it go. And relax into your body. And I want you to think about even just that simple exercise, taking a breath in. Just taking a breath in, coming home to yourself. Let's take another breath in and bring that breath in home to yourself. Breath in, welcoming it, feeling it, experiencing that breath. How beautiful. And just so naturally releasing it. And just notice in just the taking the breaths, how does your body feel? Bringing that energy back to yourself. Bringing that breath just for you. Deep breathing. Breath is life. Let's take another deep breath. Breathe in life. And when we exhale, on the exhale, release anything that is dead within you. Okay, gather up all that which is dead that you know about, dead thoughts, dead feelings, dead things. On that out breath, release all of that. And notice how your body feels. Just check in. This is why breath work is so important. And we're not even really doing breath work. We're just taking some breaths together. That breath, so powerful. Your breath is your life. If you have shallow breathing, that's what you're going to have, is a shallow life. If you have deep, full, bring it all in breaths, you will have a very large, beautiful, expansive life. So let's take one of those breaths in. Breath in, large, expansive, beautiful, expressive life. Breathe it in. And let that breath ignite every cell of your being. Hold that in your lungs. Keep holding it. Give that breath time to touch every cell of your being, informing every cell of your being of the life that you are. And on the out breath, let go of anything that is unlike that. Let it go. You might need to shake some of it off. Shaking it off is good. Bouncing it off is good. Bringing that energy, that life to your body. And now go within your heart. I am. Stay in your heart. I am. I am. And as these words are repeated, notice what your mind wants to fill in. I am. I am. Just being present is all that is required. Don't forget to breathe. Take a breath in. I am. Coming back to self. Coming back to self every day, every moment. When you feel tugged out into the world, when you feel anger from what's going on in the world, come back in with your breath. Back to your heart. Breath in. I am. And then you can choose from that I am. I am peace. I am love. I am goodness. I am joy. Just allow your I am to be revealed to you. I am. And invite you to stay in your heart as much as you possibly can today. And discover your I am. Breath in. Breath out. Bringing awareness to self. Bringing yourself back home. Moving yourself from the external into the internal, where inspiration is present. Breath in, breath out. I am. And with that, beloveds, we leave you and love you and hold you in the very highest love there is. We support you in your inner journey of transformation and of remembering who you truly are. I am. I am that. I am. Breath in. Release, breath out, and so it is. Okay.
Whew. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jeannie, what you want to say on end? Is there something
I just want to say thank you for having me, and thanks everyone for listening. It was wonderful.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you, everybody who is watching, and thank you, everybody who will be watching. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube video channel and the Rumble channel as well, so more people can see us. We actually have something like 60 views on Rumble channel, so Rumble channel is doing well as well. Actually, I find more true truther all community move to Rumble because it's not censored. So more people who are interested in our information, yeah, they are seeing us on Rumble. So I'm very proud and happy to be getting recognized there as well. So thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully see you next week, and God bless.